There's been a lot in the news lately. There's been some news, and I just considered making this video to support people that may find themselves going viral for a negative reason. There isn't actually, set instructions on what to do and what not to do, but I just felt that in light of recent events, it would be good to put that information out there for anybody, and even just for myself. I couldn't imagine going viral for negative reasons, but it can happen to anybody. So, also as well, what we've noted is that things can be blown so out of proportion. Um, so where ordinarily you may have a situation and it be resolved in your day-to-day life, once it goes online, it no longer is your story, and people can create additional agendas, and it can be politicized, it can be racialized. So many things can happen to your story where once it gets onto the internet, where if it was on a one, if it was on a day-to-day, everyday level, it may not have things may not have gotten that far. So this is just some information on what to do if you suddenly go viral for negative reasons. Right, so the first things what to do is the first thing is take time out before you respond to anything. 100%. The first thing is just pause. Just take time out. Don't immediately respond. Don't respond with the first thing you can think of saying. But first advice is just pause, just delay, just postpone, and just wait a couple of beats before responding. Um, don't clap back. It can be tempting. You may see things about you online that isn't true. That's very unfair. But the second thing that you shouldn't do is to just clap back. Sometimes that can add fuel to the fire. So, in the first instance, just pause, give a delay before you respond, and do not clap back in anger, because you can actually make the situation worse, and then it also makes it look like you don't have any remorse, whether you do or you don't. Screenshot everything, get your receipts. So just screenshot everything. People usually when caught, a good strategy is allow people to speak, allow people to say what they want, allow as much discourse to be had, because when you do respond, you will have all that information to respond to, and you're able to clarify um, any yes. But yeah, I would say take screenshots, get your receipts, screenshot everything, download everything. So just collect all that's being documented, collect all that's being said before responding. Um, check check what the facts are, meaning just check what the facts are, because sometimes people can add things to a situation that isn't necessarily true, or is misinformed, or is exaggerated. So check exactly what the facts are. If possible, write it down in 2 to 3 sentences. Okay, so in regards to the of what the facts of the matter is, try and take it down to 2 3 sentences, but definitely take your receipts of what people are saying and have been saying. Um, control what you can. Control what you can online. So what this means is turn off your location, make things private, um, turn off, your remove your personal bio, personal info from your bio, and as well amend what your settings are. So no DMs from people that are not your friends, or from non-followers, or what have you. Okay, so what you need to do is decide as to whether you want to respond or you don't want to respond. The decision is entirely yours. Also, as well, when you say respond, we mean via media. Okay, some people may want to respond via media, and some people absolutely may not. So decide, don't feel rushed, but decide what side of the coin you want to be on, whether you want to respond or not respond. Okay, so option one in responding is that so depending on why you're going viral in regards to the negative reason, is it a misunderstanding? Is it something that you actually done? Is it something you've been accused of? Is it a criminal matter? So it can be so many things. But what I will say is if you know that you have done something wrong, undeniably issue an apology. Just issue an apology. Um, if you just want to respond, just clarify once and then just stop. Okay, so you don't want to get into a back and forth with people. The internet will always win. I mean, the internet is undefeated, so you don't want to get into a back and forth with people. Um, so what some people do is that they just apologize once and that's it. Okay. You you can own it. You may not want to talk about it. So again, it depends. You may just want to own it, or you may want to talk through about it and everything else. An example of the public apology to issue sounds something like this. I see this. I see why this upset people. Here's what actually happened. Dot dot dot. I'm sorry for a specific thing. I'm taking it. I'm taking it. I won't be replying further, but I am listening. So that's just a very, very cool message that people put out there when they just need time to think about what the next move is. Um, Also, there's another instance where you may have done something wrong. Hello, Yasmin. Hi, Yasmin Busa. Ajid 6187. Where are you watching from? Okay, so in the other instance where you have done something wrong, and you understand that and you are remorseful, it is helpful if you apologize and also take an action. So the action might be you might donate to a relevant charity, or you may contribute finances to the person you've wronged, to their education, or what have you. So an apology plus an action, and also a commitment to learning and changing and improving. That's helpful. So let's talk about protecting yourself, because it can be quite scary if you go viral for the wrong reasons. It can become quite scary. So let's talk about protecting yourself. Um, at Lee David 3736. I'm not a bro. I'm a woman. Thank you. So to protect yourself, this situation can be quite isolating. So where possible, try and tell at least one person, but obviously someone that you trust, someone that isn't going to sell you out, or do an undercover interview about what you've done. So try and tell one person in real life that you trust, okay, so you don't go through this alone. Decide whether you want to turn off your notifications or whether you want to keep them on. Watch for scams and doxing. People may contact you pretending to be, somebody might contact you and be like, oh, we're the Guardian newspaper. We want to do an interview with you, and it might be fake. So getting into the public arena, you need to be careful that people aren't also scamming you, pretending to be journalists, sending you weird links, you know, saying they're going to pay for you to come and talk here, talk there. If threats are involved, report it to the platform. And like I said earlier, take screenshots, take your evidence. And also in the UK, you can report um, this to a non-emergency number, which is 101, or report any scams to Action Fraud. Right, so let's talk about after everything has died down, because it will die down. Also, as well, what I will say is don't make any permanent decisions um, on a temporary situation. You know, that's what we've seen recently. Sorry. It is boiling hot. Yeah, so please do not make any temporary decisions on a temporary situation. You know, these fads come and go. Someone else is going to go viral the following day. You know, it's not. You're not going to be the last. You're not the first person to go viral for something bad, and you won't be the last. There'll be someone else, a couple of weeks after you. Right. So after the storm, like, or while you're in the midst of the storm, don't go around deleting stuff, because that actually makes you look very guilty. So don't delete stuff. 1 minute. Sorry. Sorry. It is cooking in now. Ooh. Yeah, so what I was saying is try not to delete stuff, because sometimes that can make you look even more guilty, you know, and people have already made their minds up about you. So try not to delete things. Um, Also, as well, be careful what advice you take on board, because not all advice is great advice, and there may be people that have that may seek to gain from what you're going through. So be careful of any advice that's given to you. It's so hot. It, it is so hot. Okay. The next thing is in 3 to 7 days, start posting normal content again. Okay. So within 3 to 7 days, just act like nothing's happened and start posting normal content. People will get over it. And like I said, they're going to start moving on to someone else or the next scandal. So don't feel like, you know, people are just going to hold on to this for forever, because they won't. Okay. The next thing is, yeah, so I'm just going to go through a few mistakes that people make when they go viral for negative things. Number one is they just make loads and loads of apology videos, and you don't need to do that many apology videos. You know, you don't just need to keep apologizing about it, because you might be adding fuel to fire. You know, people just see it as entertainment, and they just might keep going, you know, just because you're going on about it. So don't delete loads and loads of apology videos. Like don't keep referencing it. Honestly, just don't keep referencing it about what's happened. You know, the sooner you move on, the better. But obviously, like I said, if you are in the wrong, and if it's something that you do want to show remorse for, you can make an apology and make a donation to a related charity. I'm so hot in here. Do not argue with every comment. I know some people like, you know, I'm in the comments a lot. I'm not gonna lie, I'm in the comments a lot, but it's not advisable for you to like go back and forth with every single comment that's talking about you. You know, another thing you shouldn't do is try not to overshare. Try not to talk too much about your personal life, about other things going on. You know, don't feel like, oh, if I tell them what I'm going through, then they're going to be more likely to forgive me, or they're going to be more likely to you know, be on my side, because that doesn't work. People have already made up their minds about you, and no matter what you say, they're not going to change their mind. Also, as well, remember, this is the internet, it's entertainment, this is sport for some people. It's just sport, it's just fun, you know, that they're just having a laugh. So, you know, you might be taking it a lot more seriously than what they mean. Um, let's talk about the mindset, because, like I said at the beginning, and the reason why I'm doing this is because we've seen people that have trended online for negative things, and they've made permanent decisions about a temporary situation, which is easy for us to say, but when you're in the midst of it, it just feels never ending and it can be quite intense. When it comes to the mindset part, let's, if possible, just try and keep in your mind that people will forget within 2 weeks. So within 2 weeks, people are going to forget about it. Like, people are going to move on to the next scandal. It's not always going to be about you. So within 2 weeks, rest assured, people will forget about you and start, you know, moving on to someone else. You know, obviously, when you're in that situation, it can feel it can feel permanent. It can feel never ending. Who took their like back? Someone just liked the live and you just took it back. Please remember to like the live. Yeah. So when you're in this situation, it can feel permanent. It can feel never ending. Thank you for liking the live. I really appreciate it. It can feel permanent. It can feel never ending. However, it it will not continue indefinitely. I think I swallowed a fly. It will not continue indefinitely. It will end. It will stop, and people move on to something else. Honestly, I promise you. The internet has a kind of 24-hour memory, unless there's updates or unless there's developments or unless the story gets bigger. Let me cough